This is the day we have been given, and let us be glad. By coming together to sing together again, please rise in body and or in spirit.
Together again, it's a real fine feeling. Lifting our hearts and joining our hands to work on the things we really need. Together again, and we're gonna be better.
Together we will be better, together as one. We come here today, ask the Spirit to renew us, show us the way to reach out to those who hurt and are blue and feeling down. Together again, we're gonna be better. Together we will be better, together as one.
We're joined arm in arm with our sisters and our brothers, standing for justice and being for peace, so that the world is right for our children.
Together again, and we're gonna be better. Together we will be better, together as one. It's all of us. We have to make a difference. Working as one and moving the world to a place that's bright as the sun. Together again, and we're gonna be better. Together we will be better, together as one. Together we will be better, together as one. Together we will be better, together as one.
Good morning. Welcome on this bright sunny day to Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Abhi, Janamanchi, one of the ministers serving this amazing religious community, and I welcome you to worship this morning as we begin a new congregational year together. Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church is a community where love
works.
Together, we explore the eternal nurture community and build a more just world. Together, we dare to embody beloved community. Good morning, Kristen.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, all of you. Please know that whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are from, whatever your beliefs, your life circumstances, your gender identity, immigration status, you are welcome here.
A special welcome to those joining our service online, whether in the moment or catching up with us later. I'm pointing towards that camera since that's where we tend to do this. We are so glad to have you with us live or catching up with us later. Welcome, and let us turn towards that camera and offer them a special Cedar Lane welcome. All right, thank you. A special welcome to all our guests this morning. If you're visiting with us, be it your first time or second time or multiple times, we are so glad you're here with us. If you feel comfortable, please raise your hand so that we may see you, recognize, and welcome you, and keep it raised so our ushers can come find you to offer you a special gift. Let's offer them a special Cedar Lane welcome. Thank you for braving the weather and the half marathon to join us this morning.
All are invited to stay after the service and enjoy some coffee and conversation with a new friend. If visitors choose to use a yellow mug, our members and friends will be sure to greet you, because yellow means hello.
You catch on fast. Yeah. Awesome. All right. At this time, I'd like to draw your attention to the insert in your order of celebration, which has some wonderful vignettes about the many amazing things that are happening both here at Cedar Lane and in our larger community. I do want to highlight a couple of things. Next Sunday marks the beginning of our religious education program year. So families, if you are interested to know more about our program, the offerings this year for our children and youth, also if you have not registered your children yet, this Sunday is a good time to do it. And Tim Atkins, our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, will be available after the service in the social hall area in the lounge to answer any questions. Also, this afternoon at 2 o'clock, I hope you will join me and members of the Environmental Justice Team and Cedar Laners at the Rise for Climate Gathering March that's happening in Rockville. When we were envisioning a bright sunny day, we thought we would have it outside, but given the weather, we'll be inside the County Executive Building. So we hope to see many of you there as we come together to take some important steps on how to make Montgomery County, at least, more sustainable and engaged in climate justice work.
In this caring community, the pastoral visitors are an extension of the ministry team. And this morning, Janelle Stewart is today's on-call pastoral visitor. She's standing in orange over there. And she will be available after the service at the Joys and Sorrows Candles table. Please reach out to them if you would like support of any kind after the service.
Thank you, Janelle, for your ministry. And last but not least, we will not be having a ritual of remembrance by the memory wall today, again, due to the weather. So we will hope to do that sometime soon, and we will let you know. With that, let us take a few moments to experience the joyous, sometimes raucous community that Cedar Lane is by greeting our neighbors, especially our guests.
Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
Let us center ourselves, inviting our mind, body, and spirit into this space made sacred by our presence and the presence of the Holy, in which we live, move, breathe, and have our being. Come down off that ladder.
Wash out that paintbrush.
Shake the sand out of your shoes.
Get up off your muddy knees and give that garden a morning off.
Put away that umbrella and fold up the Washington Post.
Turn off the coffee pot.
Ooh,
We've got coffee here.
not sure about that. Close up your calendar already filled with dates and times and people and meetings and places that claim you.
This community is ready for you to fill its rooms, to nurture its spirit, to generate its warmth, to kindle its light, and to let it shine.
This congregation is ready for you to make and build community, to create beauty, to bend it toward justice, and to serve its ideals.
This congregation is ready for you to be here, honoring our past, invigorating our present, and envisioning our future.
This is your religious community.
Here we are home.
Here we are whole.
Here we are better together.
So let us begin.
As Tom Nixon and Gail Riley come forward to kindle our chalice, please rise in body and or in spirit to share in unison the words printed in your order of celebration and on the screen. We light this chalice to remember who we are, to reflect on where we are going, to rejoice in what we share in common, and to co-create how we will live a beloved community of caring, hope, service, and love.
Come, wanderer, come, worshiper, come with your joys, your broken heart, your wholeness, your loneliness. We gather as a single community in sacred space to meet the wonders and challenges that life offers us all. Let us enter this time to gather strength and inspiration as we bear witness to the joys and sorrows in our community. When I hold up my arms, I invite you to say, we hold you in our hearts. If you're living through the small and extraordinary milestones of life, please know we hold you in our hearts. If parenting is your primary spiritual practice, we hold you in our hearts. If you live with or care for someone with grief or chronic pain, we hold you in our hearts. If you are struggling with illnesses seen and unseen, with mental illness or addiction, we hold you in our hearts. If you have suffered abuse or injustice, please know we hold you in our hearts. If you have been at the hospital bedside or in the bed in the hospital, please know we hold you in our hearts. We bring with us so many joys and sorrows, all swirling together in this moment made sacred by the presence of each of us. Let us intentionally enter this space of prayer and meditation together with a breath. And as we hold the silence together, I invite those who are mourning the loss of a loved one or the anniversary of a loss to rise in body or spirit. Let us hold the silence together. May all gathered be free from suffering. May you know peace. May you know love, and may you know always that you are a part of something larger, an integral part of community. May it be so. Amen. I invite you to remain seated as we sing, "There's a River Flowing in My Soul."
Good morning.
Good.
I'm Gail Riley, and it is my honor and privilege to serve as the president of the Board of Trustees this year. As you know, in the early spring, we launched Cedar Lane's capital campaign, Building Our Vision. Over the last 6 months, we've been making steady progress towards supporting that campaign. In quiet conversations, we've shared the vision with nearly half of the congregation. Everyone's participation is welcomed and encouraged during this significant moment in our history, and I'm thrilled to share some great news with you this morning. Longtime member John Giovanelli began attending Cedar Lane in the late 60s. This summer, John informed Reverend Abhi about his plans to make his personal commitment to Cedar Lane's future on behalf of his late wife Martha and himself. And he's given us permission to share his comments with the Cedar Lane community as an inspiration and example to us all. And so I quote, "Over the years, I've supported Cedar Lane because of its commitment to freedom of belief, non-dogmatic approach to religion, its caring for one another, and service to the larger community. I have appreciated the care and support I have received as a member of this religious community and would like to see it continue for future generations. Recently, I updated my estate plans to include a provision in my will leaving a legacy gift to Cedar Lane after my lifetime with a current estimated value of $2 million. Thank you. This commitment is inspired by the goals of the Building Our Vision capital campaign. end quote. So this brings our current total to $5,272,000 and change, which is 75% of our total need. John is with us today, and we take this opportunity, just stand. We take this opportunity to acknowledge Thank you. So we take this opportunity to acknowledge your unprecedented gift in support of both Cedar Lane's history and its future. John, on behalf of today's congregation and for future generations of members and friends of all ages who will also benefit from the improvements we envision, we offer our deep gratitude for your incredible generosity. And may your generosity inspire each of us to reflect deeply on the role the Cedar Lane community plays in our lives and to be as generous as we are able in supporting its good works through our own personal commitment to the capital campaign and the annual fund. Thank you.
John, I have been moved to tears on several occasions. Your generosity moves me in such a deep place. Your commitment to a legacy of love that moves beyond yours and Martha's years is, it's so much for my heart to take in. And it's a reminder that our checkbooks, our wills, these are also spiritual documents. They define the world we hope to live in and the world we hope to leave behind. Every check we write, every appointment we put on our calendars, we're making a spiritual statement. We are trading minutes of our lives for a life that we're living now and a world that we'll leave behind when we're gone. I invite you to consider that as today's offering is gratefully received.
Thank you, members of the choir, Jasmine and Henry, for that beautiful piece of music and reminding us that the water is wide, and these waters that flow in and through us sustain us, nourish us, and inspire us. And thank you, Henry, as you mark your 10th year as our Director of Music at Cedar Lane. Thank you. And John, thank you for your incredible and selfless act of generosity. As Katie said, I am moved to tears and I find myself coming up short on words, which is a bit surprising for someone who is in the business of sharing words. Friends, it is an incredible moment that we find ourselves in today. I just don't want us to just pass this time by expressing just our gratitude to John and Martha for their act of generosity. It is an incredible historic moment, and I want us to remember this day, this moment, not only for the act, but also what it represents. Because what it represents is something more than just our building campaign. Let me be clear about that. Yes, it is being offered to us. This amazing gift is being offered to us in the context of our capital campaign. It doesn't diminish that. But it's not just that. It is an invitation, a challenge, a reminder to each and every one of us to actually witness to the potential, the promise of Cedar Lane Unitarian Universalist Church. So thank you, John, for granting us that gift of vision, pun intended. So I want to frame my reflections this morning in the context of what John has shared with us. And I begin with this short parable, a familiar one, about the 3 bricklayers who were working away, and each one of them was asked what they were doing. And the first worker answered gruffly, "I'm laying bricks." The second one responded, like someone we know, "I'm building a wall." But the third bricklayer responded enthusiastically, with joy, "I am building a cathedral." You are helping us build a cathedral. So I ask us this morning, what are we seeking to build in our lives and at Cedar Lane? Are we just in the business of laying bricks, building a wall? Hopefully not. Or building a cathedral? And what are we seeking to accomplish through this Building Our Vision campaign? Renovate and repair this beautiful space so that we are all able to enjoy it more? Or a cathedral of the Spirit that embodies our vision and values, that is a place of welcome and sanctuary, respite and renewal, nurture and service, resistance and reconciliation for us and future generations? What purpose does our vision serve? Is it just about transforming our lives and our congregation, which is a worthwhile goal? Or is it broader, bigger, a bit more bolder? than just that internal view. You see, most of the founders who started this congregation are no longer with us, at least physically, though they are present in our memory and in spirit. And their passion, the passion that drove them to create this congregation, is still alive. And it is part of that passion that has come from people who have been a part of this congregation's 67-year history. And part of that passion comes from what we have done together. Part of that passion has to do with who we are today in Montgomery County. Part of that passion has to do with who you are and what you bring to share with this community. And part of the passion has to do with the fervent belief that the beloved community is not just a pipe dream, but a living, breathing reality, and that it is a work in progress. These are some of the common threads that run through all the sources of our passion, which tie us together in order for us to share the liberal religious message, the important liberal religious message that we have to share with ourselves, with our children and our youth, with Montgomery County, and with Washington, D.C. So what is our liberal religious message, you might wonder this morning, because it is, after all, commonly charged that the Unitarian Universalist congregations have become a haven for people who cannot quite make up their minds. Or, as one wit wrote, a Unitarian Universalist is a person who walks the thin, fine line between confusion and indecision. Or, as Longfellow once said, Unitarian Universalists believe in nothing and go about practicing all week. I can go on and on. I have a whole slew of them. You get the point, because we do have an important message to share, especially in these extraordinary, dangerous, trying times. We affirm and promote the interdependent, interconnected web of all existence, of which we are but a part. Which means we are called to practice that principle in our lives together, being a green sanctuary right here at Cedar Lane, or living out our commitments out in the world, in Montgomery County and in our country, struggling to shift us away from what we see to be the consequences of climate change. We believe in the freedom of religious expression, religious thought. All individuals, we believe, should be encouraged to develop a personal theology and to openly present their opinions without fear of censure or reprisal. We believe in the authority of reason and conscience and in a free, responsible, and disciplined search for truth and meaning. With an open mind and heart, there is no end to the fruitful, exciting, challenging revelations that the human spirit can find. We believe in the unity of experience, that there is no fundamental conflict between faith and knowledge, religion and the world, the sacred and the secular. We believe in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. All people on earth have an equal claim to life, liberty, and happiness and justice. No ideal, idea, or philosophy is superior to a single human life. We believe in the necessity of the democratic process in our congregations and in community at large, and in the ethical application of religion, because inner grace and faith finds completion and expression in social and community engagement. We believe in the importance, the vital importance of religious community. And we believe in the force of love, that the governing principle in human relationships is love. which seeks to help and heal, never to hurt or destroy, that the power of love, we believe, will ultimately win against loveless power. And this is the love we are being called to take out into the world to address society's complex, pressing moral issues and break down the walls and barriers that threaten to divide us and keep us apart. So our good news is to speak to resilient hope in the face of despair, to school people to be courageous in the face of fear-mongering tactics, to teach each other the fragile art of hospitality and the art of compassion in the face of violence and hatred, and to be committed to practicing a revolutionary love that will not let us go, let us down, or let us off the hook. And so finding unifying ways for this liberal religious message to be unleashed, manifest in our lives, in our congregation, and in the world, is to make a positive, transformational difference. And that, my friends, is what we are called to be and do. Cedar Lane is at a crossroads. And we have a choice. We can choose to stay as we are, a nice, comfortable, religious, large religious community here in Montgomery County and in our UU movement with a vision that is going to make us good, no doubt about that. Or we can make the choice to step higher towards something greater than just our collective that will change our lives and transform the world. It is our choice. Will we be a cathedral or a wall or just a set of individual bricks? If not now, then when? If not you, then who? Only you can decide that and be who you will become. So I close with these words from the Reverend Mel Hoover. We cannot change the past, but we can learn from it and build it. We cannot control the future, but we can shape it and enhance the possibilities for our children and grandchildren. We cannot discern in the present the fullness of our actions and their impact, but we can be pioneers of our time, exploring fully the crevices and cracks where knowledge and new insights abound. We can explore our spectrum of relationships and confront our complacency and certainty about the way things are. We can dare ourselves in our entirety to listen to our frustrations and hopes and to discover new capacities and capabilities that will transform us. In the spirit of the pioneer, let us go forth. Amen.
So today in our story for all ages, y'all have a very important part. Y'all are our sound effects, okay? So we have some cue cards that we're going to cue you to make sound effects at various parts of the story. And we're going to kind of go through them together before we begin. So our first cue card is exhale loudly. So practice that with me. Thank you. Our next card, which we need to put this down to demonstrate, is called Make It Rain. So take your hands, just pat. Make it rain. Next, we have whoosh. 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 That's pretty explanatory on that one. And so is our next one, a single clap. Okay. Y'all are doing very good. Our next card, we say together as well. Woohoo! And our final card is Make Waves. Oh, quick studies, this congregation. So our story today is called A Drop's Journey.
We are trainable, Tim.
It was like a voice from above right behind me. Thanks, Abhi. Yes. My earliest memory is drifting up through the sky, heading further and further up. I couldn't see anyone that looked like me, but I could somehow feel the sky was full of things just like me. As I kept rising, I started to gain a form I could see. I was a single drop of water, but I was a part of something greater.
Together with some other drops, we formed a family, a big and puffy family. We can do more together. We floated around the sky for what seemed like an eternity, but eventually we started to fall back down to the earth.
Although the trip back down to the ground was pretty fun, and I was surrounded by my friends and family, I still felt pretty lonely. I missed that feeling of being a part of something greater than myself. And it was pretty fun floating up there in the sky. I felt like I was losing a part of myself as I fell toward the ground. Whoosh, whoosh. And before I knew it, splat! I hit the ground hard. There was green stuff all around me, and slowly I started to sink down into the ground. It was cold and dark. I was pretty scared. Some of my friends that I fell to the ground with disappeared into different routes, and I felt alone in the darkness. I kept falling and falling through the ground. It was so dark I couldn't see where I was going, and I thought I'd be stuck alone in that darkness forever. I slammed up against something pretty hard, and I was stuck against a rock in a hard place for quite a long time. It took time, oh so much time, but I made it past the rock. And then I met other drops like me who had made it past the rock in the hard place. And we started to come together.
This was a very exciting time for us. These were entirely different drops than we'd met before, and they had some really interesting stories to tell. One remembered being a part of a plant that got eaten by a deer. Yeah, right, it happened. One remembered being a part of a great storm, and they were blown away into a tree. It was nice having so many different drops from different backgrounds come together. And eventually, our stream, that's what we called ourselves, made it out of the darkness and into the light. Woohoo! We saw all sorts of fun sights, and soon our stream joined other streams. We weren't worried about losing each other because we found even more friends along the way. We became more than just individual streams. We became a river. We became more together. Together, we were able to move huge rocks. Together, we were able to sustain life. Together, we were able to do so much more than when we were alone. Our river merged with more and more and more, and soon we joined a big body of water, one of the elder drops called the sea.
I had never felt more at home. There was a big community of all of us individual drops of water. Some came from rivers, some came from the sky. Drops continually joined us, and we celebrated their arrival. Drops would also sometimes leave us, disappearing back into the sky. And although we mourned their loss, we knew they were continuing on their journey, and we wished them well. I had made it through the dark times and arrived at my home.
In our story, the drops of water came from different streams to find a community. Together, when they merged into the river and then later the sea. When two sources of water merge, it's impossible to tell which water came from which source. A true community is formed. We all come from different places, different experiences, but when we unite as a community, we are inseparable. Because we can do more together. Please say it with us. We can do more together.
Many will come from north and south, east and west, and so we are here at the beginning of a new congregational year as we all flow like drops and streams into the great river and ocean of the coming year.
We come from every direction of the compass to this deep place, a center of life and love.
To celebrate our coming together, we symbolically gather the waters of the world to renew and replenish our spirits and merge them together.
What we're celebrating here is like the meeting of many rivers, the coming together of people across beliefs, cultures, sexual orientations, gender identities, immigration statuses, physical abilities, political viewpoints, and life situations.
We take part in the water ceremony not as tourists, eager to share one more place on our lengthening bucket list, but as spiritual pilgrims, committed to understand the inner meaning of the outer journey, the essence of religion.
We take part not in fear, but with love, not in despair, but in hope. Not as random individuals, but together as a religious community. It is time for connection. It is time for renewal. It is time for celebration. We are stronger and better together.
You are invited to bring a small container of water to this worship service. If you're like me and forgot to do so, you may use the water right here in these pitchers. And when you come forward as a family of many or one, if you wish to, please name the place where the water is from as you pour the water into our common bowls. And also, if you are unable to come forward, Kristen and Val will bring the water to you so that you may bless it, that in turn may be offered here. And after you pour the water, we invite you to go around to the back of the sanctuary and form a line, a circle of love. And so let the communion begin.
Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Join me. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Peace, shalom, shalom. Peace, salam, shalom. Harmony. Peace, salam, shalom. 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 Peace, shalom, shalom.
We join the waters of the present with the waters of past ceremonies.
Blessed be this water, the wellspring of our lives.
Blessed be these vessels, in this vessel, our beloved community.
And blessed be this new year that we begin together.
May this water wash away our fears and our bitterness, and wear away our rough edges.
May it quench our thirst and refresh us, and ease our pain when we are broken.
Let it be a libation of joy and laughter. Let it be the sacred link of our communion.
Bless us as we begin again in love.
And come and go with me to that land.
I'm there. 2, 1, 2, 3, and go. Come and go. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. There'll be freedom in that land. Freedom. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land. There'll be freedom in that land where I'm bound, where I'm... Can you groove with me? Move them to that land. There'll be freedom to that land. There'll be freedom to that land where I'm bound. There'll be justice. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land. There'll be justice in that land where I'm bound. And there'll be singing. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land where I'm bound, where I'm bound. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. There'll be singing in that land. One more time. Come and go with us. Come go with me to that land. Where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that
Go in peace, go making peace, living gently, loving fiercely and mightily, and bowing to the mystery. So may it be. And now those who wish to join us for another communion, a coffee and tea communion, are invited to join us in the lounge, as well as someone has car keys that they need to get home that are now with Reverend Katie. So you know who you are. Look for Reverend Katie. Thank you for joining us this morning. Let us begin together. Oh, hello. Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good to have,
Happy New Year.
good to have you
All right.
back.
Thank you. It's good to be back.